Hey watercolor wizards, Hajra here. Thanks for parking your brushes here and let the epic painting adventures begin. You guys might know that I like Derwent Inktense blocks, and I actually have all 72 of the blocks, and I've swatched them on this wheel here in spectral order with the neutral earth colors in the center. And I have all the names and the little light fast numbers and that kind of information on there. And I just recently acquired a Derwent Inktense Pan Set. And it's the same exact formula, according to them, that they use in their pencils and also their blocks, but they have made it available as pans in case people want to like travel with it and stuff. I'm just gonna actually measure it, then you can compare it to your own travel tins. So this is about just a little bit more than 5.5 inches long, just a little bit less than 3 inches wide, and as far as its height, it's a little bit more than 3/4 of an inch. It came with a little water brush that you can sort of fill with water. And I've actually moved that into my travel watercolor painting bag, and it's not here, it's in the car, but it's just one of those little water brushes, and you know, I'll show you a picture of it, of what it looks like, the one that came with it, but it's not in here. I don't like to use those brushes when I'm painting at home. To me, they're just not as good as the nylon or natural hair brushes. It comes with a little sponge that you can use to absorb water as well, and it's got 5 wells up here, and I guess an extra well down here if you don't have your brush or you're not storing it, but I think this is better to just keep that clean. And then it's got 12 colors over there in what looks like half pan sizes. So let's look at these colors. I'm gonna swatch them real quick. And I'm kind of surprised, I saw in the pictures that the sets usually come with a little swatching sheet with the colors and the names on them so you can swatch the colors. There wasn't one in this set, so I don't know if they stopped making a swatch sheet for this like I saw online, or if it just fell out of the box or something, I don't know, but it didn't come with one. So make a really teeny one so it can fit onto my other swatches with my other colors, and just for convenience, of course, you can swatch your colors larger. Alright, so I've zoomed into the swatches so we can just look at the colors close up, and I actually changed the order of the pans in the box because they sort of pop out, so you can do that too if you want. They're in spectral order with the neutrals at the end, which is how I like my colors. And the palette is that there's like 2 little ice cube trays here, so I don't know if that's meant to be like you could put a secret note down there or what, but you know, these colors pop out in like these 2 ice cube trays, and then you can pop these individual pans out in their own little pan as well. So that's like, you know, just a weird thing. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's just weird, but it's okay. It's not bothering me. Wet really easily, just like traditional Inktense blocks or pencils are pretty darn easy to wet. Alright, so this is Poppy Red. I like to shave my blocks or cut my blocks into a palette and not just wet the whole block over and over again. I do that as a protective measure so like the block doesn't dry out, having a little bit of a skin on it where I'm re-wetting it over and over again. So, you know, I only have the part in the palette that's completely wet and then it doesn't stay on the block. So I'll just have to see if that happens with this set or not. I mean, I just did it as a precautionary measure on the blocks. Okay, so the next color is Mango. It's kind of like having a waterproof gouache, which is really cool. So here's the next one, which is Sun Yellow. The next color is Kiwi. And I do think it's fun to have this set, you know, without having to feel like I always have to go and shave a block and then put it someplace, because I like to use my Inktense as paints. I'll look at these colors again at the end, so let me finish swatching them and then I'll come back and actually analyze and compare them to other colors. The next one is Teal Green. I did notice that this set has 3 greens. I wish they had put in another violet or another red. I mean, they're all pretty greens, but it's not a color that I am reaching for as far as needing multiples. That one's called Racing Green. And Dark Plum is the only color they have in the purple range, and it looks like it's like an aubergine plum type color, which is nice, but if they'd had a cleaner, brighter purple, it would have been nice. Like I said, why the 3 greens? I think this is actually the bright blue, so I'm going to put it over in this section. And I've used this color before in my Pooh Bear painting that I did with Inktense, so I can tell you that that's the bright blue. This is labeled as a mid ultramarine. And right away we know that that's true because we can see that it seems to have more red in it. It's a warmer blue. Then now I'm on to my earth colors, Burnt Yellow Ochre. And I actually like it as a, not just an earth color, but it's a nice warm, almost like a Quinn Gold type color. It doesn't have to be an earth color, you can use it as a very warm yellow. That's a natural brown. And then this last one is ink black. And again, all of these colors are wetting super easily and are handling just like the Inktense block paint. So, alright, so I've got all 12 of my swatches there. I think I'll add a little bit more to the racing green because I think I got that a little bit too dull. I know some folks like to have much larger swatches, so that's totally up to you. You want to have really large swatches. I like to have swatches that are just a bit teenier. Okay, so overall I would say that I'm really happy with this set just because it handles just like the Inktenses. I'm a little bit worried that re-wetting the whole pan or a space that large might sort of sink in and make some of the paint underneath granulated or something when you re-wet it, but that's something that I won't be able to tell until I practice a lot, and that'll not come from one demo but from like numerous demos, so I'll keep you guys posted if I find that as a result. But otherwise, I actually like the case. I like the size of it. I like the 12 colors. I don't think that they should have done 3 greens. As much as I feel like all 3 of these greens are very different, they're really pretty, I would have liked another purple. So if they could have gotten rid of maybe the racing green and had another violet in here that was sort of cleaner and cooler, and that would have been real nice. Like something like the violet that they have here. That's called a deep violet. Now as far as comparing the colors to other colors that actually exist on this wheel, I want to look at that real quick. So I've already determined that poppy red right there, it's the same color as the color that comes in the blocks if you own it already. When it comes to the mango, there is no color from the blocks that is labeled mango, but it's close to the cadmium. It's kind of like the cadmium if you mix some of the golden yellow into it. It's a pretty color. The sun yellow is probably my favorite yellow in the sets from the Inktense blocks, and I've used it a lot, so I'm really glad that they put the sun yellow in there. There is no kiwi green that I can see over here, but there is an apple green, and it's close to the apple green. I do think that the kiwi is just a little bit more yellow, so I think in order to make it a different color, they maybe added a little bit of a yellow into it. But if you have an apple green, it's going to be pretty much identical. They already have a teal green, it's right here, so that's another repeat color. I'll make a little mark next to the colors that are already in the blocks. So that would be poppy red, sun yellow, teal green so far. And kiwi and mango are not in the blocks, but they're very similar to colors in the blocks, like the cadmium orange and the apple green. Let's see if there is one that is a racing green. I don't even know what that says. I can't read my writing. Does it say like onion green or? Oh, okay, Ionian green. That's what it says here. I thought it said onion green. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense at all. They're getting super creative with their colors. Okay, so that's Ionian green, but it's still not a racing green. So I don't see any racing greens in here, but it looks a lot like light olive mixed with Ionian green. Okay, so bright blue I already know and determined that is down here, and here it is. And it's also in this set. I don't see any ultramarine, and so that's a new color as well, but which color does it look like? So I would say that it's very close to this deep blue right here. So if you have a deep blue, then you're gonna have the color that looks a lot like the mid ultramarine. A lot of these colors, I mean, after a while, it's, you know, you can call it whatever you want, but it's still the same color as another color they already have. And I don't see anything in that group there that was called dark plum, but if I wanted to compare it to a color that's here, I would say that it looks kind of like a dusky purple mixed just with a little bit more of the mauve or thistle, so making it just a touch more actual violet than brown than this dusky purple is. So it's actually a very pretty color because it's just a little bit more violet than this dusky purple. I don't see a burnt yellow ochre. Very similar to some of the older colors, there's just a tint here left or right, warmer or cooler. So the burnt yellow ochre looks kind of like the sienna gold, except for just a touch less gold, a little bit more brown. And here's a natural brown, and I would say if I was going to compare this to any of these colors, it's actually a little bit more brown than any of these ones on this side, but less neutral than any of the ones on this side. So it's like a bridge color between the madder brown and the dark chocolate. And of course there's an ink black here, and so the ink black is a repeat color. And that would make it so that we can say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 12 colors. That's almost half are repeat colors. And the rest of them really are very, very comparable to the other colors that are on here. either in a, you know, very close in match like the kiwi to the apple green, or something that's just slightly different like the dark plum is very comparable to the dusky purple, but it's just a little bit more violet. You can definitely say you have all these colors either directly or by mixing if you already own the block. So if you're getting this for the new colors, then that's probably not the best incentive. If you want to have this as a traveling set and you want to just have it at home and have pans that you can sort of use without cutting off bits of blocks and stuff, then I think that's really handy. It's a really cute little Christmas present, and thanks to the person who got it for me. I think this is the only set of colors I bought last year, apart from the Schminke metallic pearlescent colors. I try not to get very many new things because I want to use what I have, but I think I use Inktense enough that having a little handy pan set like this is a really great find for me. Well, Wizards, I hope you enjoyed seeing me swatch these colors and compare them to the colors I already have in my Inktense blocks, and maybe you want to get this Inktense pan set, or maybe you don't. It's totally up to you, but I really enjoy Inktense just as a permanent watercoloring type medium if you're trying to do something that's like acrylic or gouache and you want it to be permanent unlike gouache, but handle like gouache unlike acrylic. If that makes any sense to you, then you might like this set. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my website link, Skillshare, and Patreon page to support my art and art channel below. Thanks for parking your brushes here, and wishing you all epic art adventures.